Ayy, look, pull up with the vibe, we gon' party like it's 99. I love Cali in the motherfucking summertime. Love me a thick hood, bitch, I can get behind. Ass cheeks on my white tee, that's my favorite kind. Hit one time, that's your baby mom. Brand new whip, that's Mercedes, brand new fit, going crazy, late to the party, can somebody say me something? Take it back to 2010 when it was free before 11. It was Rancho Tecker, it was 89th and Western. Crack yo bitch and we wasn't even texting. 3 aims in and I'm in her away message. Play that new dime and we two-stepping. Play that old East Siders and it's 2 questions. Where the fuck is niggas from and what the fuck is niggas banging? But the music too loud, can't even hear what niggas saying. Ayy, faded off the jungle juice. I've been running through, finna meet this hottie at this party at the W. Calling from the lobby, tell security we coming through. Me and all my niggas trying to make sure that I'm
alright.
Were you nasty in the Ames back in the day?
I've always been a active child of God. I've always been somebody who puts the word first. And,
okay. What was you go ahead and get no Skype nudes?
No, I'm old. No, I'm not gonna lie with y'all. AIM was it. AIM is that's why like
AOL Instant Messenger, baby.
And that little door used to open like you knew. Yeah, you
like
knew.
Mystical.
Yeah, you knew. you knew it was a thing. And yeah, that was one of the, I know I've said this on here before, but that's just really like, I know that there are probably like areas where people have their like old person standoff, like they draw their line in the sand and it's like, the kids these days don't appreciate, but they really don't, because you don't know what it was like to let some pixelated nudes have to load up. Like the way with which, like I couldn't imagine, I would have lost my, like, yeah, I wonder how, like, because they talked about, like, us being desensitized, but, like, Instagram, like, you could legit, just the algorithm would just start throwing ass cheeks at you for one. If you don't have, all your parental settings. It's just, I'm not doing that. So it's just, like, cheeks everywhere. Then you can just go click, and then you can go to Twitter, and it's just titties and booty holes, and pussies. It's everything. And they're just doing all the stuff with them. If you think a thing.
Reddit is worse.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Reddit.
But yeah, I think about that as far as like I remember having to. Then I've done the whole dialogue about like you guys didn't know what it was like to have to like put your previewed porn together. Mm-hmm. You could only go to porn sites. But fuck all that. Just interacting with somebody else, like they probably living fucking life. Safety first. Revenge porn is fucking weird. So just some consensual shit between you and your crush person. You can FaceTime. Like you can legitimately. Fuck a nude picture. These kids probably don't even know what the fuck a nude picture is. Like you could just get on a thing. I remember like in college when like Skype hit, it was fucking revolutionary. Like, like especially when you're at school, you're going to come home. So you start to kind of set the tone for like what you want to land that plane. You only home for a certain amount of days for some breaks. Christmas was the huge break, but like some of those breaks, if you go somewhere and you are doing like a spring break, then you got like a week. You got to set this up properly. You have to plan. You set that shit up with the Skype and shit. Like what you doing? What you start doing the phone calls and shit, and all of a sudden, somebody walking around the house and shit, and like, oh, who's that thing sitting? And what you doing? Is that your dorm? And now y'all kind of got a little thing. Yeah, you done set it up properly, man. Y'all done already set the appetizers, man. These kids probably fucking are degenerates now. Like they
can put so much. They got privacy screens on their phone. Like we had to wait loudly to figure out how to be discreet about the shit we was doing. Because like you said, the picture loading up, it's loading up on the screen, and you gotta like.
You trying to get some boxy boobies on a Motorola Razr is y'all would never understand, my nigga. Like
discretion was having a sidekick and being able to keep it in your phone. And I didn't have one.
That's a crazy thing too, because you had like, especially like when it was AIM, the phones were like them brick ass Nokias, so it wasn't no pics. You had to really get the AIM shit and hope everybody had good enough dial up when that shit was screaming, and then the door opened because motherfuckers had schedules and homework, and everybody didn't have laptops. It's a family community computer, and y'all don't.
You downloaded all kinds of malware on there.
Y'all had, you had to struggle because it's not just what you had to, it's what she had to go through. Like she had to really work to send you them fucking boobs.
She had to really like attach a grainy little circular screen.
She took them
webcam. and post it somewhere
on
and
the
try to like
the webcam or them big brick ass fucking cameras. You thought it was lit. That motherfucking camera was big, both fists, and it was a big brick motherfucker. And then she used to try to still take them with the little fucking
small ass.
yeah. And then they do this shit where the fucking nipple fall right through the. I don't know who said that shit was cool. I won't see the whole titty, but I appreciate your artistic, integrity, whatever.
And
but
they always had to sneak in the bathroom somewhere.
Oh man, it was nuts. But you appreciated the effort. That's who you ride with. That's the thing. Like you be like, man, she really. That's where you tell your boy, like, man, you deserve she earned that. That's crazy. Like she really went to work for them to get you them titties.
Random, but not so random. You know how like for each championship game, there's 2 sets of Nelia or merchandise that's created for the winner and the loser, and whoever wins gets theirs, and whoever loses, the story of like theirs getting shipped to like Africa or something, right?
Yeah, just walking around in the Philippines with
Right.
equal shit on sorry beef.
So with our old phones and whatnot, who's in another country walking around with nudes that were stored on an old phone of ours that somebody refurbished and didn't completely delete?
I mean, for sure it's out there. Like, assuming you deleted your shit, cool. But especially nowadays, like even nowadays, I just feel like you got to kind of shoot shit out and just know your shit somewhere. Because, like, the digital footprint is somewhere. I know it's some stuff of my stuff somewhere. Like, I just, it's like I've been in, we've been engaging with one another. We talking about the brick phones. Nigga, that's high school. That's a long time. And I've been an equal opportunist for a while. So like we fucking the unit. You want to see some stuff? I want to see some stuff. We horny together. Yeah, you just got to kind of eat that you out there.
I'm a little older, so high school, our brick phones didn't even have the cameras on them yet.
Yeah, I think that's. I mean, I think
we just had brick phones that we was trying to put lights and shit on the antenna to make it seem cool. We had no camera. You just
see, then that means that's another.
You got a light up battery pack. Oh shit!
See, because that's one thing. Like if you send it to a country that might not be too giving a shit about nudity, then cool. They just see some titties and ass or whatever the fuck. But if you are in the space where they might not, you might be helping somebody else. They don't know where the fuck. Like you think about it that way. Like these balls might be getting you. You might be having a tough go of it. This is a country in a bind, and you got to worry about a lot of stuff. And you might be like, man, I don't know when the fuck I would ever see a pair of tits. And you're like, damn, there's some fucking tits in here from fucking 02.
And not even gonna care.
Yeah, I'm like, that's nice.
Which could be an issue because they don't know that they looking at minor titties.
Oh, well, then yeah, that's gross.
So unbeknownst to them.
Yeah,
because they just like, and some of them might know, because I'm sure there's people that like you said, revenge porn, people that have taken or hacked somebody's phone and took their nudes and posted it somewhere. It's like, that there's got to be a teenager. Like, there's got to be.
Hey, you know what? Speaking, like, we got a post on there. Like, that made me think. Like, yeah, and I appreciate any traction, any interaction. So this is not me trying to jump on people who are interacting with the pod space or anything. I just want to have a conversation with y'all a little bit, because like there's a post, and we posted this shit fucking weeks ago, and it's this other podcast, and I forget what the podcast is called, but it's up there.
Somebody that ain't talking about nothing. That's the name of the show.
They were having a conversation, and I know on the pod the conversation got in the bag of like younger people. So the girl on the show is like, age don't mean nothing. Because my boyfriend is 20 and I'm 27, but I met him when he was 17, and we cut it, and it's funny and blah blah blah. So even her shit aside, because that's kind of wild, and the comments have become what the comments are. Like, that's a groomer, the little Law and Order joke. I made a Law and Order joke. It's funny, but it's some of you niggas in the comments, and I just want y'all to know we can see you. Like, these comments are public domain, and we can actively see you. Like, there's a lot of niggas saying shit, and while in other areas, this statement of,
hey, you know what we could do? Just read the actual comments.
All right, it's just because I'm trying not to because
I mean, there's other shows that they read.
do.
They read the comments of what
They
people
do.
be saying and they process it. So
because I
you
want
gave the
y'all.
disclaimer. You ain't trying to put nobody on blast for real. But you do got to talk about it a little bit.
Oh, here it is.
My boyfriend just turned 20, and he's taught me so much more. And I'm 27, and I met him.
You're a cougar.
I met him when he was 20. I met him when he was 17.
All right, that's my ad. You go watch it. It's up there. But it's just a couple of these comments. Laugh, and then it got so weird so fast.
The deeper you get,
If he
into the comments.
if he packing and putting you to sleep, just say that. Ain't no 20-year-old putting a 27-year-old woman on. That's a little regular. It's a little heavy. It's got a little heavy, but a lot of R. Kelly memes. Lots of R. Kelly memes. Somebody said Marcus Houston in the comments. That's a lot. I don't remember him being in there.
You don't remember his story, his current wife?
No. I remember his story. I just don't remember him being in the comments. I'm not gonna lie.
These must be new.
I'd have probably been like, hey, let me go ahead, bink, pin that. Y'all, here we go. This is where it starts getting weird. Y'all too involved. I give bro props for getting a real woman that knows what she wants. That's uncomfortable. 17, not far from 18. Y'all know it ain't no innocent 17-year-old. She met him. That don't mean they did anything. That's weird. And 17 is not that far from 18. And that's more of a conversation as to 18 not really being that grown. Like that to me is where that goes, is that like if you're encroaching upon your 30s, like what 18, to have teen behind your name to me has always been like I've always thought you niggas are weird that were like really hype about specifically 18-year-old hottie sucks dick on like nah. Like you can like them titties can adhere to gravity. I will watch that porn and be fucking like very, very pleased. Y'all really be like up in arms about that. It's weird. It's uncomfortable. Like legally, I'm sure, but the way that a lot of people were in here like defending like this, she's 18 and that's not that far. And then there was one in here that was a big thing about the age of consent. I've seen a lot that said the age of consent in certain areas, and I find that to be fucking gross. Because somebody in here said the age of consent is like...
It's depending on the state and the area. But I can't... So, 3 things. One, since you said Marcus Houston, does his song My Very First Time hit a little bit different because of...
It just might do it.
Okay. 2, you remember when we worked at the facility and we took the little training or whatever, and they talked about us. They gave us that chart of consenting ages.
Yeah.
And we were like, really?
Yeah, that's
like seeing some of the ages that are legally consentable on paper was a bit wild. But like
Romeo and Juliet shit is also another. And I'm gonna tell you right now, this is not like there's not like a gender thing. If my son walks in the house at fucking 17 with a 28-year-old, I'm not finna be one of those, yeah, you got it, son. I'm finna kick her straight between her titties. Because what are you doing with my child? She's like, are you fucking nuts? Oh, here's one. This was the one. And it's up. It's been up. Every time I've seen this, I've thought like, oh, nah, he wouldn't. There's 121 comments. And I think I'm always a big fan and proud of the growth we've had. But I'm not used to like 100-something comments under one post on the regular. And this nigga posted this of his own volition, which blew me. I feel you. I'm 23 and my girl is 17. And when I say they have been flaming this nigga to fuck up for weeks, this shit was posted 6 weeks ago. I didn't even know that. It says 6W right by the name. And they have been flaming this, rightfully so, because there's people in these comments that are defending this age of consent. Like scientifically speaking, this shit don't even finish fucking getting done until 26. Like there's a lot of layers where this is just fucking weird to me. And even more so, like it's not as weird. There's so much weird shit. Because initially when this first started gaining traction, the thing that bothered me was like niggas going, but if a man do it, because I'm like, that's not the conversation. Because that makes you sound like you're not mad at her being a weird groomer. You're mad at the fact that like a man would get condemned for it because you fucking should. But this one takes the cake because there are people in here going, I'm from, and I was like, oh hey man, we reached people in fucking London or whatever country one of these people was in, because I was watching one day, they was going for it, and I was fucking logged in, and and it was somebody going, well, where I'm from, it's perfectly fine to blah 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 blah, and I was like, burn that motherfucker down. Like, what the fuck? I just find that shit to be gross, and it's been the weirdest shit to watch, and I think that shit is fucking outrageous. And I want y'all to kind of be stopped.
More so than just the age part, I think it's a mentality attached to it that kind of bothers me more.
Hell yeah.
Because, like, say 21 and 17, still not the greatest, but I get it. Y'all ain't too far in age, whatever. One's a legal adult and one isn't.
Weird ass niggas pulling up to the high school games after you were a freshman.
Yeah.
Nasty.
Not my groove, but I get it. Y'all not too different in age, but sure. Above that, I just mentally can't justify. Like I said, I think I shared off air. If you're 40 and they're 30, okay, or 40 and they're 28, even then, maybe, because you're two both fully formed adults, and if that's the route you want to go, great. But when it comes to teenage,
I don't know. I watch the job post. Y'all 30-year-olds not formed, but no.
we got some people that are late bloomers, and it's okay.
So y'all 40. I'm sorry.
Yeah, some of y'all still ain't got it, but it's okay. But yeah, it's like if there's a teen next to one of the ages, and you are supposed to be especially a fully formed 26 and above, you're no longer considered an adolescent when it comes to mental capacity and brain function. I can't justify why you would still say that that's okay and it not be because you have some sort of an issue. And I think about my personal experiences, because I was said 16, 17-year-old that had older women hitting on me. And I remember, granted, I was, your birthday's at the end of the year, so I was in college at 17. But still, 16, 17, I don't look 16 or 17, but I had women with children like, oh, yeah, you can get it for sure, trying to see what's up. And at the time, I had enough wherewithal to be like, yeah, it's not the route I want to go, just for my own discernment to cut the conversation short. But not a lot of kids have that same discernment to understand, like, that's probably not the best situation for me to, like, allow myself to really be vulnerable in that capacity with an adult.
Well, no, yeah, you ride that. Everybody rides that wave of, like, my son getting ass, so that's a boy. He's supposed to blah, blah, blah. And, like, look, everybody's supposed to be exploring themselves in these adolescent ages, and they explore themselves with other adolescents. I'm never getting behind the fact of a grown motherfucker coming down and manipulating a child in whatever fucking way. I don't give a fuck if you. There's a lot of shit I thought I fucking liked and wanted to do and was really knew what the fuck I was talking about and I just think about that shit in passing now. I was like, yo, nigga, you were fucking outrageously wrong. Like, that shit was dumb as fuck, and it was spoken completely from the fact of you don't have any experience. Like, I know there was a lot of people in there like using the exception as a rule is also crazy, especially in this fucking regard. Is like some people been through a lot. Because you were extreme, and by that, everybody's example is always one thing. Because you were extremely wildly traumatized by the age of 17, you're not fucking. That doesn't make you grown enough for a motherfucker who's. I don't give a fuck how grown this motherfucker is. That 29-year-old weirdo having the thought process, I'm gonna fuck on this 17-year-old. I'm gonna fuck on this 18-year-old is weird to me. You're weird as fuck, and I don't care. Speaking of weirdos in this same ballpark. That was the clip that went around this week of everybody's favorite love guru, Irv Gotti. And Irv got up here, and Irv said some shit about that he thought that love was not, it was like love is not a thing that I think I'll be able to like achieve because I gotta find this
too
clip.
much money, basically.
Yeah, he was like, I make too much money. People always want me, for my funds. And that's like, okay, that's a narrative that niggas say, oh, wait, I think I found it.
Yeah. For me, 26-year-old Dominican, gorgeous.
Let me stop you right here. We're gonna run this back.
The real one. Let's make some noise for her.
Yeah, word to
Love to
Gym
have
Champs.
one with me 100%. I just don't think it's out there. For me, 26-year-old Dominican, gorgeous.
Gonna hold it right there. She asked him for a big lump sum of money. It was something 20 grand. Here's the thing: 26 years old. While I feel you, we just talked about consenting adult, 26 being the age. I just find that to be still in the ballpark of like it's officially and legally and by any ways that you could whatever outside of just my moral standing. That's a little groomy and a little weird. Like you're complaining that nobody wants you for money, and 26 is where at best you have a direction for life. Some of y'all are in the amazing, I'm a 26 and I'm working at my favorite job, whatever. But as we all know, in this millennial and gen whatever Z age and whatever generations after that, because I don't even know anymore. I feel like they're going to use numbers and apostrophes. Generation blah, blah, blah. Like nobody knows where the fuck they're really going by our own fucking conversations and volition. So a fucking multimillionaire who's been a millionaire for a long time going down to grab a 26-year-old sounds in no way other than I'm looking for somebody who really can't tell me no shit, who could just kind of be impressed by my money, doesn't really know what you really want in life. And that's not just, it's not even about like career finances. It's just maturity. I was at 26, I still wanted to blah, blah, blah. And then you get to 30, you get to 40 or something, and you go, oh, this is important. Oh, this is supposed to be like a mature response and thought about some shit. And I just found that to be weird. And I find niggas who do it weird. Like, that's not like and I don't like it that it's always framed in a way of they want me for my money. They trying to take advantage of me. Because those women exist. But this is not one of those moments. And that's fucking weird.
I mean, on average, because Irv is what, 50 something.
Got to fucking be. Irv was up. Irv was there when Hove was starting to be Hove, when he was Hove.
He's definitely been an adult for a minute. So he's for sure maybe mid-late 60s. I mean, mid-late 50s, maybe.
Yeah, I think he's
60.
He's definitely in his 50s.
Okay.
Even if he's in his 40s, but he's in his 50s, I think.
Yeah, actively seeking a 26-year-old. What do you think they want you for?
Yeah, like I'm trying to really.
You've been a millionaire and been who you've been or had the notoriety behind your name that you've had for their entire life. They know who you are. 26 years ago. What year is that?
Yeah, it's just.
That's like 2000 or 1998. Because I'm coming up on 20 years from my high school reunion next year. And that's from graduating. So
where are we at? We are 4 days out from me turning 34. Happy birthday to me. Big Virgos in the house. Whole lot of gang shit. Gang, 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 gang. Where's the thing? Which one of these? There it is. And, whoa. Hello. Testing. Oh, shit. Buttons. We knowing it on the fly, niggas. Anyways, but even in that, like, I think to myself, like, and I think there's some sexy older motherfuckers out here that just looking good. Like,
Absolutely.
At 26, especially as like a 26-year-old woman, you said Dominican, she probably sexy, things thangin'. And this nigga is not built like The Rock. What else could the fuck she be wanting, my nigga? Like, I think niggas, like, you believe in yourself, think you were him. I've seen a lot of moments where, me myself, like, you have definitely won off the fact of being Himi Hendrix, but let's be also fucking for real. And you niggas be leading with the money. I know you be leading with the fact. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. That whole conversation was, like, fucking baffling to me. And it's also baffling that there are niggas in there. I heard this shit was good. I haven't watched it yet, but I heard Jormungand. That's the fucking. Anyways, that's a whole other thing. But yeah, like, it just is a weird conversation. And, like, as much as I don't have no qualms about what I feel like the women ladies do that bother me in the relationship shit, this is one of the, like, shining examples of you niggas are fucking weird. And I understand some of the shit they be saying. Because why the fuck? Because it's niggas in there like, yeah. Niggas always be in the comments like, that's crazy too, because they do be one. Shut the fuck up, bro.
I mean,
is not that.
I say they're more so weird. I don't want to say 100% just because you're going for somebody significant, like you're twice their age. I don't want to say you're weird just for that, but being weird thinking that that's going to be true love and they don't want something from you.
Mm-hmm.
And that you are even considering it because you think that we're on the same maturity level, which means you think less of yourself, in my opinion. Either that or it's a situation where I've noticed, even in our society, we put sex above logic.
For sure.
Like our sex is a primal need. Granted, I have my variations of understanding when it comes to sex. I think sex is a form of communication, like a conversation. And yes, you can have a conversation with anybody, but at the same time, you're not going to have a full-blown, in-depth conversation with somebody that you don't see as your intellectual equal. Like you're not a random 5-year-old. If you're talking to your child who's a 5-year-old and you're trying to have a conversation with them about something and you're teaching them, you're still going to have that conversation to their understanding level. You're not going to have it the same way you'd have it with an adult. You're not going to go into, say, Cornel West isn't going to have a debate with the baby. You'll have a conversation with him, but it'll be to teach or to inform or to enlighten. No disrespect to the baby to say that he's stupid, but you get what I'm saying.
Hey, Cornell might get my vote. Yeah, fuck what y'all talking about. I'm here for that. Let's burn it. Let's fucking knock it all over.
And I'm completely okay with that as well, depending on what the situation is. But I say that because if we still look at sex as far as the communication, you're not going to have communication sexually with somebody at the same level that you're at.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm in my 50s, my mid to late 50s, I'm not approaching a 26-year-old for sex thinking that it's going to be for love. It's going to be because I want some arm candy or because I want this, I want that. And if that's the agreement that you two have with each other, and that's the understanding that you come into the situation with, fine. But to come in with like, I'm never going to find true love. I was trying to get at this 26-year-old girl.
She
What?
asked me for $26,000. And I'm being presumptuous. I don't know. But the way it be seeming is like, I niggas be leading with the funds. So yeah, give me some money.
You know, because you understand, you have understood how to manipulate with money longer than she's been alive. In my opinion. And you also, if you in your 50s and you came up during the mid-late 90s, 2000s, and that's when you was really making your money, that's what we cared about the most at that point in time. Everything was about flash and material. So to think that you don't still have a little bit of that mindset in you when you approach younger women that have, you know, aside from money, they have a lot of competition that they can choose from. There's other young dudes that's her age or younger that's making a good amount of money like you are just from fucking reviewing shit on Instagram or TikTok or YouTube, right? Like you have YouTubers that are 23 making 8, 9, 10 million a year, making 100,000 a month or some crazy number like that. So not only do I have to compete with looks, you know, different energy levels, different interests. They have similarities to all these different things, and they have money. You can't tell me that you expect a 26-year-old, somebody half your age, to really want you specifically just for you. Either, in my opinion, and I could be wrong, either she got a daddy complex and she wants you to like be somewhat of a man/father figure for her, or it's a transactional relationship. Now, that's not to say that it's impossible to find love in that scenario, but the statistics are...
I'm not yet. And I'm not even going to bust out no like real statistical evidence. I feel like Google is free and like you can find these journals and things like that. But it just make sense just logically. Like, again, the exception as the rule, I think sometimes is like a nut ass way that we kind of, and I'm not saying you need to get on the internet and just judge people. Like that shit's a little crazy. But if y'all gonna have the conversation, like be fucking for real. Like if you're gonna bring it up and put it in the space for people to talk about it, like be fucking for real that you being of a certain age and going for somebody in their 20s is nuts. And a good chunk of that shit is for superficial reasons. Like, yeah,
Absolutely.
you got the money,
gives off,
she got the young body.
Medieval times or like stereotypical patriarchy vibes to me. Like this younger woman is given to you because of a dowry. And you expect her to still love you, even though it's a transactional reason that she's in front of you in the first place.
And let's be honest, let's be fucking for real. I'm not even gonna call it like fucking like love you. You want somebody to be, and that's what we got to find new words. I don't know if this is a kind of a weird year 2024, but like new words got to be found because that's how niggas get mixed up. Where you have these stupid conversations about air quotations my piece. Because all that turns into is a moment like this where you can pretty much assume that you want somebody who's fun, who doesn't ask anything of you, who doesn't ask you any questions. They're literally there to be like a good dog, and that's weird. I have more than enough opinions for on the flip side, but I'm gonna stay on niggas right now because from this perspective, that's what it sounds like. Like you want somebody to want you for more, but it's like you have to set the stage for somebody to be able to appreciate you for more. But also, you got to have somebody who I feel like can understand that. At 26,
you gotta believe more in yourself.
That part.
If you don't believe more in yourself, you're gonna do exactly what you're doing, which is go for some 26-year-old girl and you in your late 50s.
Yeah, because to me that just sounds like you went for somebody who is not established, and to me that sounds like a way to go. You're not established, so that means that you should listen to me. Like you should let
me save you because I'm not good enough to find an equal. Which I'll say in Irv's point or defense in some regard, thinking of it from a mental healthy trauma perspective, Ashanti's not his age, but she's closer in his age.
I thought that shit fucked him
and
up.
He's still broken up about that. So it's like, man, I can't trust no women my age because they're gonna break my heart just like Ashanti did. So I'm gonna find some younger girl that's gonna appreciate what I have to give her and accept it and love me more. At least that's one perspective of how like you choosing younger women just because you ain't dealt with your trauma from dating within your age group and processing how you put more into a relationship that you probably shouldn't have put in the first place.
It definitely sounds like an inability, like in each situation, even when they talked about the Ashanti thing, because I was in that interview too, and he had an issue with Fat Joe taking up for somebody he cares about.
He didn't even say nothing. I watched it. He didn't say anything.
Like he was wilding. He just seems like somebody who seems to probably be able not to have a hard time taking nigga responsibility for the situations you put yourself in. Like if I didn't pay that much attention to the Ashanti thing outside of the fact it seemed like, liked her, she didn't like him back whilst he was in the middle of a fucking actual like marriage or whatever. And even in this situation, like
another wild point. you broken up about your side chick. Cue up side piece, please. Just throw that in.
and even that,
but even then, like
she might not even really be a side piece because
she wasn't really fucking with you like that.
We work together, my nigga. Like,
but also you saying that you can't really find love, and you're divorced because you couldn't treat your wife right.
Yeah, like thinking of Irv Gotti sitting up there
crying
about the shots he just with. Ooh, it's like he thought he was finna leave. He was sitting there at them board meetings, ready to fucking just get rid of his wife, and thought Ashanti was gonna be sitting there waiting to dance with him in the kitchen to this shit.
She's considered at that time. She is a mega star. She is one of the most beautiful women on the planet.
She's sliding through,
and you think that she's gonna give it all away for you?
She's sliding through St. Louis on 24s, living her best life, playing softball with the fucking St. Lunatics. Shut the fuck
up. That alone should tell you, like, she dated Nelly for a minute and doubled back.
Yeah,
actually, I think this is a triple back, ain't it?
I feel like they go, pretty. I don't know, and I don't know the ins and outs of that shit, and I don't fucking care.
They don't even matter no more. Like, there's plenty of people that they get back with certain old loves and all this other stuff after some time,
and that might be a little, that might be healthy, depending, if y'all grow together and come back or whatever.
Y'all split and this, that, and the other, blah blah blah. All that is completely possible, but being surface level, strictly off of looks. She chose Nelly, who is a peer, who's in her age range, who's in her tax bracket, actually made more than her over that amount of time, and is aesthetically pleasing to most women. And you think that you, Irv, and not even little Irv now, we're talking about chunky Irv. I don't want to body shame because, I ain't exactly... I ain't still got my muscles and stuff right now either. But, like, you see what her type is and what she chooses and what she will actually go and dedicate her time to. What made you think?
But it does seem like power dynamics, because at this time when he's talking about the Ashanti thing, he's in the driver's seat.
Absolutely.
I'm the producer. I'm the
I'm
CEO.
doing all this stuff for you. I'm writing the songs for you.
Yeah, you're my artist. It's a lot of,
Right.
Put my thumb on somebody, and then when they don't want to do that, it goes left.
I'm
and that's
hurt
weird.
about it, which is, to a degree, a bit of a narcissistic deal.
I'm not trying to, it's, you need to officially, assess and diagnose or whatever. But like, when he talking shit, I'd be like, it's in there. It's in there. It's fucking flaring. It's flaring up, boy.
Now, that takes me to a different point that I had in mind in his regard of, at least, I was sharing off air. The more that I look through testing materials and all this other stuff that comes, it's like social media. I've had this thought occur to me a few different times over the year. I just never posted it on Twitter or anything, but like social media is basically just filled with narcissism and histrionic personality disorder.
That shit is super rampant.
All through, it's basically the basis of Instagram, in my opinion. Everybody's looking for all the attention to be geared towards them so they can turn it into some sort of money, fake virtual signaling, the whole 9 yards. But it's all really just to get the attention on me so I can monetize it, whether it's sexually, which is histrionic personality disorder. They're going to look to have the attention put on them at all times, but they do it in a provocative manner. They do it with sexual things or dressing provocatively or whatever the case is. Although we love the anime cosplay girls, I'm pretty sure a good 75% of them will fit into that category. But just like you see it, and you see the personality disorder, and that's for the younger people. That's for the 30 and younger, right? Those are the people that are running social media. Instagram is ran by, say, the 26, 27 up to 32, and TikTok is being ran by the 17 to 26, 27, right? But both of those social medias are rife with histrionic and narcissism. And that's the pool you're choosing to pick from, thinking that I'm going to find love. I'm a rich, older guy, divorced. I'm never going to find love because I'm digging in a pool of histrionic and narcissism as a narcissist and thinking that I'm going to find love.
And see, that's to me the crazy part. And I understand some people just maybe not, don't recognize what it is they're doing or what it is they're saying. And, that's how, we stay employed, because, you might need somebody kind of
Job security.
But it's just hard to think that, when you just think about it, if you had any moment where you are self-reflecting, it's I guess you could have, but to be a little facetious, you couldn't have thought that this was a space to find and generate love. That is not what you were trying to do. That is not what you were actively working to produce. So let me backtrack. Maybe you were actively trying, but if we talk about this out loud, this is not a space for that to grow, or at least it's not a space for the odds to be in your favor in any fucking way. Just using this example, and I think that could obviously be pushed to anybody else's situation. If it's the result, how it went about, it's really hard to think that if you were thinking about this, if you took a step back, just kind of pulled your head out of it and just kind of looked at it, what you say you were trying to go for and how this whole thing panned out, I'll put all the factors together. It's really, really hard to think that was where this was going to land at. I wanted love as a 50-something-year-old man, multimillionaire, going for just a regular 26-year-old, and thought that, oh yeah, this is going to be a super space for love and understanding. You're doing a lot. It's motherfuckers who have had mutual experiences and ways that they really understand each other that have a hard time making that make sense in a relationship. So,
I mean, that's the same to a degree as, or at least the same mindset as, I'll say the dudes, even though I mean people in general, but the dudes that frequent the clubs and the strip clubs, and they're like, man, I can't find no decent girls. Ain't no good girls out here. Shout out to the AKAs. Y'all ratchet theme song, I guess. Whatever. But yes, that type of them, those are in a certain setting, in a certain environment, and you frequent those environments, and you well, I can't find insert exact opposite of what that environment provides. One, that you not being reasonable enough to understand that I'm not putting myself in the right places or positions to find the thing that I'm looking for. But two, from an introspective mindset, I'm not looking at me to realize I'm not embodying the thing that I'm saying that I'm looking for.
Exactly. Like that's just not the. And I don't mean none of that shit of like, you got to go to the church house to find you a good woman. But you just
saying that because some of them are the same people.
I'm gonna say some of them. Anyways, yeah, it's just the usual. The usual is your fucking fault. It's a real. It's a lot of words thrown out, but it's real simple. Like if we boil this down to what you did and how you kind of put yourself in that spot, we can wrap some of it. We can wrap so much of this shit up, but we could just put a good little bow on it and get it the fuck up out of here. Because no, man, like not to say you could go to the function, and that's not saying that that's impossible. That's not saying that there's a lot of good things that have happened from that interaction, but also my nigga, good and well, like who you picked, why'd you pick them. Like, you wouldn't look at her and be like, oh, man, that's a good. You looked and saw that thing was sitting, and then that's where y'all got to. Now, if she turns out to be a dope person, cool. I just want y'all to take a little more personal responsibility. Be a little more, put a little more stuff in that think tank.
Absolutely.
Put a little more think in that tank.
Be a little bit more fluid with how you are allowing yourself to approach people. I mean, for a weird example, Irv could approach a younger chick strictly for contractual agreement purposes. Mm-hmm. And it turns out to be like, no, I actually really enjoy this person, and although there is a significant age difference, like I vibe with this person, but I just approached them strictly for a transactional relationship. I want something young to play with and have fun with, and she wanted the life and not have to be responsible and accountable to it. We just grew to like each other over these last few years, and I would actually seriously date her.
I don't think I would probably say much I definitely wouldn't have as much to say about that. Like, I feel like, if motherfuckers was like honest about that, they'd be like, all right, well, we don't really got much to talk about. Like, you don't have to, like, you're not bullshitting. Tell the truth. Tell the truth. Hard T.
Absolutely. There's a lot of them agreements going on in other countries.
I mean, yeah.
And they honest about it, and some of them is part of their culture. But for here, we'll do the nasty shit and act like it ain't nasty, or I had no idea that this was going to happen. Now we playing victim and acting like we don't know what the fuck is going on. We actually do. Like, just be honest about your shit. Which kind of goes back to your point of like meeting people in the club. Like, when you saw her, it was sitting and you wanted to holler at it. Or she saw you and she just thought he got a nice body, or he looked like he got some money, and that's why she gave you the number or exchanged Instagrams with you, or whatever the case is. Like, why can't y'all both just be honest? Like, hey, we both find each other physically attractive. Let's do a little something, but also allow ourselves to explore knowing each other more. Like, this doesn't have to be the basis of our relationship, but let's be honest that we're okay exploring in this regard and allowing other shit to come into play as we do this.
Yeah, you could meet at fuck and like arrive at shit. You might arrive down the aisle or whatever, but I just be honest about that shit and stop making all these weird shits. And I don't know, man. That's another thing, man. We always throw some mental health in here. Like, if you took your time to figure out where the fuck your thoughts are birthing from, then you could be a little honest. I thought we was in love, but also I realized that I was like extremely anxious, have a just hyper ass attachment style. Like, it's really, really anxious. And I got these weird fucking patterns from my mom and dad. And I realized that I wasn't really in love. I just, didn't want to be lonely. And I was like really taught that this is how it worked. And so, yeah, that was really fucked up. But now I've kind of adjusted some of those. And now I'm really aware that, like, no, I really fuck with her. Because I don't really have those feelings of as I'm whatever. Or I was avoiding. Or I have, like, just saying you should know yourself a little bit. And then that would help, like, get your life together.
You know yourself a lot. Know yourself a lot. Not a little bit. Know yourself a lot.
What's some other relationship nonsense?
Well, I was going to say, what do you think is, since we had the conversation of like le pédophilie, what do you think is a respectable age gap for people to date?
For me personally, I think I also like take this from my dad, because like he's somebody who doesn't leave out of like, we used to think that like high school gap was like a billion years. Mm-hmm. Thought that 4 or 5 years was a motherfucker. It really isn't. I think that's really my lane. Like I'll hold space for like maybe like if there was like some spectacular fucking moment where somebody is like, I don't know, man, 7 or 8 years apart. But I don't really think about that because like I always end up having that thought like, my sister's 8 years. Me and my sister are 8 years apart. So anytime I see her friends and they're, you know, even new friends that she's met like since she's like moved and gotten like, I can always tell in my brain, this is an attractive young lady, and that's exactly how it sounds in my brain. This is an attractive young lady, and then I would look at somebody who is fucking 31, and I'm like, some nasty mother. Like the inner voice is different. Like that motherfucker right there is where I tell you what. But if you come to me and say 24, 25, I'm gonna be real like, like I can see it. I got eyes, but like it would just
take a lot.
Yeah, that's not my first pursuit. Like I've had conversations where somebody says that, and I'll be nice, but I'm gonna walk away. I'm gonna go fucking find some pennies to pick up on the floor. It's just not something that like the situation would have to like, I don't know, organically unfold. Me and this motherfucker be at the same spot a lot. Maybe it's somebody you work with. Like I could see situations like that happening. Like you just develop something for somebody. Y'all are consenting adults. But if the conversation is me actively knowing this stranger is 23 and I'm gonna go say something, you not your fucking mind. No, I'm not.
Yeah, I can kind of speak to a certain age gap difference. If you guys are in similar environments and you just get to know each other and develop something, and you find out about the age along the way, and it's like, damn, I didn't even know. I can have a little bit more empathy for that. I say, depending on, you know, say between 20s and 30s, 10, maybe 12 years, depending. 30s and 40s, kind of the same. When you get older, maybe not, because 30s and 60, although they're both full-blown adults, 30 and 60 still is like,
that's wild to me.
So there is a bit of a window. But if, like, say for me, I'll be 37 this year. So, you know, I've come across some early 20s, and I'd be like, damn, I didn't know you was. Well, I mean, I fuck with you, but we're gonna keep you right here. We're gonna keep you right here. Just cause, and I've dated 10 years younger than me. And me 37, that's 27. Like you're going into your 30s. That doesn't seem as bad, but that is a large ass gap. And you don't really notice it sometimes, especially in life. You just kind of come across people at certain ages. I think falling into it as opposed to seeking it out is two totally different things.
Yeah. I got a lot of geeky, quirky information in my brain too. And it just sometimes be messing with me where if I say a reference, I know it's real regular, but you never watched that show? I feel like a fucking dirtbag.
Right. It's like I have to. It's a learning process, right? Like I may have to teach you about the first X-Men cartoon, and you're trying to teach me about Zumbumafu or some shit. Like I don't fucking know. Or, yeah. What's
fuck
just
you
some
mean?
shit?
Fuck you mean you didn't know about Big Bad Beetleborgs? What the fuck you talking
right,
about?
Right. Like I can understand if you're our age and you don't know about it because you just wasn't into geeky stuff, or you was watching Mary-Kate and Ashley movies while I was watching the opposite of that. But if you like, oh yeah, no, those shows were in syndication.
Who's Robert Townsend? Bitch, what? What? Well, I got a Robert Townsend story, but I'll hold that real quick.
I watched this show called In Living Color. And who's James Carrey? He looks a lot like Jim Carrey.
Yeah, like we can't have a conversation. Like if I said, like you never did call him Big LA. Like you never had that. Like you never said that. But it was a fucking slap. Like we was fucking with it. But who's that? Did they call him Big? No, they didn't. They didn't call him Big. Oh,
that's the guy from the cop show. He raps.
Jesus. You didn't even know the secondhand cringe of hat is like a shark fin and he kept it in the water. You didn't live through the heinousness of Cool James.
I liked Hat is like a shark's fin.
The song, yeah.
Deepest Bluest?
The song.
Okay.
I was hyped for the song because I watched the movie and I was like, he didn't die. I was like, this motherfucker broke.
Absolutely. The song was dope.
Oh, my hat is like a shark's fin.
But also he used that line from an older song of his as well.
But all of that, like if I'm not, and I don't know, man, like salute to black fathers because like I actively watched my father be like a very in shape man in his early 60s. I've actively seen him in the gym. I've seen young women go, this the one. And that nigga goes, no. And I'm saying this as like me and my father very close. Love that man. He is not in any form or fashion not living his life in retirement. he is not in any way like
enjoying the fruits of his labor.
And he makes sure that them motherfuckers also know what it was like to fucking go outside when Guy was popping. Like he actively makes sure that's the thing. I'm not even remotely giving you the time of day if you didn't know what that felt like. Like if you didn't understand the
dance during the New Jack Swing. I don't care how old you was during the New Jack Swing, but you got to know about the New Jack Swing and live through it.
Yeah, if you wasn't outside when like NWA came out, like he's not fucking with you. And I respect that shit. He's fucking adamant. He doesn't even fuck around.
Right. But that sounds like, say, for him, it'll be a 10 to 15 year age gap. So it's like, yeah, I may be in my mid 60s, but 40s is where I draw the line.
And shit for him, he really keeps it in the latter 50s. I don't even know. And we're, me and Dog talk quite a bit. I don't know. I'll give it that if he's had a 40, it's so far few between. Like he just is very adamant about it. He's like, I'm not even really playing with y'all about that shit. That's weird.
Why do you think, simply from speculation, unless he's told you, why do you think he does that?
One, it's a daughter thing, but not even just that. Because I know a lot of niggas go like, and I'm not knocking this, but not that you needed to have a child to like have some sort of like standards about life or whatever. But I know like me and him talk about this a lot in a variety of ways of how your career does affect your personality and your mindset. So my father has did work a lot like for his entire career in corrections. Like he, started out whatever and ended out and at the end was high level suited up administrator, like really, really in charge of I'm not even joking. He was in charge of a lot of shit. Like he was actually really fucking him. Like, but that affected him. Like working with those individuals and seeing what it looks like when you're around real predators and what that looks like and how the shapes and sizes of these motherfuckers reading those cases. And so that affected him. Like he's obviously like, he's soft with us, but he's a, gruff, hard motherfucker. So what you do actively affects like who and what you are. Like his personality is still very like, it's way better, but it is very much so been in the space of, you can tell like you've been around a lot of motherfuckers that are kill or be killed and you've had to deal with them. So seeing those people who are like manipulators and preyers, like even if you're not like a sexual offender, but like niggas who manipulate those who are, say you see a nigga who's a new booty and you see a nigga who knows a lot about life, even if it's just life inside, prey on this individual. I do think that is like, he has never fucked with that. That is not something that he takes lightly and he don't like that shit. Weird bully shit, none of that shit. You're a weirdo. And, he'll beat your ass.
Fleece training.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, I'll absolutely beat your ass. Like, just carry that type of energy.
Yeah.
So, like, yeah, and he's, obviously worked, and seeing the niggas who is like, not to say, people should obviously pay for your crimes, but it very much so was like, that's an era thing. He very much so lived and grew up around that quote unquote like honor bound era of like, you don't touch kids, you don't touch, families or old niggas. Like you and me will get to whatever we need to get to on our own time. Like this is just like, he's very much so has that ingrained in his like era. So all of that shit is weird to him. So yeah, that's my synopsis.
Okay. I can understand that. I can see for sure it justifying him not messing with severely younger women, especially because Chardon. So that, but there's dudes out there that do. There's dudes out there that's messing with women that's the same age as their daughter, or vice versa. Women out there messing with men the same age as their sons.
I know a second part too. He's also very adamant about the life that he's built. And so
ain't nobody about to take that from
exactly. Like you need to also have stability in your life. Right. And that just makes more sense that you would have, I'm this age. It took me however many years to get this stable and this, that, and the third. So on the other end, I'm looking for somebody who I should, in this ballpark, I should be more, I feel like I have more chances of finding somebody that has that level of security. But I'm also, in this conversation we talked about earlier off air, I feel way more secure in he will hit that eject button like as soon as I don't like that. And I feel like it's a lot less I'm leaving this person out to dry because like you're grown. Like I feel like there's a bit of you're grown, you could have whatever. If you're somebody who is figuring it out, then you feel the responsibility of as a man, like, you know, I want to help and protect and all that other shit. But if I can put in my mind like, what the fuck, we had to you know, unless you tell me some like outrageous end of the world shit, we had the same amount of time on this earth. And Dog's story is not like some easy go about it life. Like, so I feel like with him also, he's like, oh, I can look at you as a liability and I can go ahead and remove myself from the situation, as opposed to if you go young, you end up in that like that weird fathery thing with your partner and they need you in a way and you get yourself caught up in a weird trick bag, potentially.
Mm-hmm.
I think that plays a part as well.
Assets over liabilities.
Like
Guns and butter, you dumb motherfucker.
Dead ass. And Buddy is Smith and fucking Wesson. Like fucking the U.S. military budget over there. Like if by that analogy, yeah, for sure.
I'm not mad off that, but I feel like kind of what we shared earlier. Like you have to have a certain level of value of yourself to even understand that.
Mm-hmm.
And at a number of different ages for black men especially, we don't have that level of value in ourselves in a healthy way. We might have cockiness as opposed to confidence.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll say that at least the differences between the two is like cockiness is an ego thing where confidence is self-awareness. So a lot of black men lack the self-awareness to really be confident within themselves in a number of different areas, but they're cocky enough to go with the I'm him.
Yeah.
Whether I feel like I'm him or not, I'm going to tell people I'm him just because it's popular urban colloquialism, and I know women want to see that type of bravado expressed, so that's what I'm going to embody, even though internally I'm struggling with that and accepting that and believing that in a number of different ways.
Yeah, that fake it till you make it shit'll fuck you up in a lot of ways. Like, and I feel like that's another adage that is not terrible on paper, but depending how you use it and understand it can really be like truly detrimental to you. Cause like fake it till you make it, like if you might, like I'll use this, like I'm not fucking Charlemagne, but I believe in the content we have. I believe that we're growing. I believe that we like, you know, produce like good content, great conversation, so on and so forth. But like faking it as if I'm telling somebody that we were fucking, I don't know, on like, you know, CNN tomorrow is nuts. And then it puts that puts pressure on yourself. It also makes you not appreciate the space that you're in. So you end up completely looking at yourself on a consistent basis as less than, as opposed to the journey you've been on and being, you know, to be, you know, super spiritual. Like, you know, you're supposed to enjoy the journey, enjoy the thing. And it's like, oh, I absolutely remember when shit was not as great. And so now I'm here and you can check the progress and so on and so forth. Applying that to one's life. If I'm going to fake it till I make it, and I'm actively comparing myself to motherfuckers who are just in other positions in other spaces for a variety of reasons, some of it due in no consequence to themselves. They just were outliers at the right time. Like they not working any harder than you. Some might even be working less than you. You just ain't had your fucking moment. But you gonna walk around thinking I'm a fucking dickhead and I have to fucking put on in this regard. You gonna fucking hate life. Not to mention male suicide. It's pretty fucking high. That's a component.
I'm about to say that's par for the course. That kind of brings home what I say. Not to say that, you know, I'm the knower of all things, but
all father.
We do know that suicide is a big discussion and a big issue in the black community with males of all ages. Teenagers or just adolescents, youth in general, young adults, elderly, like black men struggle with suicide. So that means that there is some struggle with confidence, self-worth, all of that.
Mm-hmm.
And it transitions into our romantic relationships just like it transitions into our relationship with ourselves. So we have a lot of Irv Gottis out here. You have a lot of guys out there that work their life to try to live a certain lifestyle to oppress women, only to maintain it in older age to still try and get women that are attracted to that, because I don't know who I am outside of that.
Yeah.
It's not a lot of dudes like your pops that are like, I'm super established, I have been established, and I need you to be where I'm at, or I will turn down some pussy in a heartbeat. Like it ain't nothing to me to turn down a piece of ass.
Yeah, and like that's why, like that's where just like faking it till you make it is really just like you said, it just puts you in a frame of mind to just fucking really belittle and hate yourself. Like, cause you live this fucking fantasy of where the fuck I should be, what I should be doing, how I should be this, and you cut yourself off from being able to be like a genuine human being who can be like vulnerable. And I think like it makes you like when motherfuckers have conversations now, like every now and again, outside of some of these pods, you know, they'd be like, you know, be in her feminine energy and stop being masculine and whatever the fucking buzzword standards or whatever, any buzzword of the day, and not going like, look at there's data too. Like there's how we feel, there's spiritual shit, and then there's like statistical data that shows like economically, you know, we are all in these positions. So it's like faking it till you make it is literally a recipe to like fucking implode because the dollar's at a certain amount. Gas is $5. Gas is literally $5. Like, so like being fucking honest and for real of like, I'm not a piece of shit. What I am is just a motherfucker who's living in this society at this time. And the fucking, I don't know, like the 1920s nuclear family never existed. Your granny went to work and he got the big piece of chicken, not because, you know, he was a man and she was like his subservient. He got the big piece of chicken because when he went to fucking work, he was 57 working at the fucking factory, and it was a 20-year-old white boy calling him boy. And he needed the big piece of chicken so he can have some semblance of fucking like power and I matter. And you fucking care about me because I'm getting fucking whooped outside. We're getting beat the fuck up as a unit separately and all that other shit. Like just contextually, you need that shit.
The big piece of chicken is validation and support, essentially, from the old school adage. But that also made me think of like depression in men. I think it probably, well, black men specifically. I don't know nothing about white men. They got their own little struggle, and it ain't my ministry. But
boy, I gotta
finish. Black men, I know we've talked about post-traumatic slave syndrome and like trauma being held in our bodies and our DNA and being passed down.
Epigenetics.
I feel like the lack of self-confidence and things of that nature, I feel like that could be a part of that conversation of like lack of self-worth is passed down genetically through black men because of how they were belittled and treated from slavery times for hundreds of years through different generations. And it just not only became part of the culture in some capacity to put these unhealthy pressures and expectations and disregard and lack of nurturing and neglect emotionally and all these other things onto black men, knowingly or unknowingly, but it's also something that just is in our bloodstream and in our mindsets, unfortunately. And say today it's manifested suicide, whereas before it may have manifested suicidal behaviors like gangbanging. Mm-hmm. Like, I just don't give a fuck about myself, so I'm going to go out in these streets and do whatever the fuck.
That's actually, like, that's true. And I don't even think, I mean, I think it is also an epigenetic thing, like a trauma passed down, but that's just, to me, literally in the conversations that are had, because, you know, from shit just working and shit living life. I remember even in school, like niggas being like the first person to go to school and nobody taking into account like this person might be fucking up because the pressures of this, you have no idea, you have no blueprint.
Right.
Like, even though I didn't like watch my parents like study, I always knew college was an option. Like I had the blueprint of people who had gone to this. So like there was a different fear motivating that don't be the first person to fuck up, which is not the healthiest, but it's still different from somebody who's like, I'm out here by myself and I have nobody, like I've now hit 18 and I don't really know who to talk to about this. Like, even for, like, just some story of you've done it and I can take solace in the fact that, like, you've done this and you always tell me that I can do anything, whatever. Whereas if you're out there by yourself, you're a fucking anomaly and you are literally, like, on your own with nobody to talk to. And you got to, you know, man up those conversations and what that and how that fucking affects somebody. Because, like, if you think I can never do this, and then you look at, like when you said like the white boy masculinity thing, like our journeys I feel like are different. Like masculinity, like I've had this conversation before about like how in the toxic masculinity conversation, like when you see white boys, right, online, there's always this like the Patrick Bateman, the fucking, like I know him now. This like Patrick Bateman, they'll use motherfuckers like Guts, they'll misuse Guts, just throwing that out there. They'll use Ryan Gosling when he was in that fucking like whatever movie, all the Sigma male shit, and like the detriments and issues of being a man, and it usually is like, and they use Tyler Durden. All these motherfuckers were fucking crazy. Like none of these were good representations of men, and they're just these depressed representatives of like losing male power and privilege. And you look at that shit as a black dude, it's like none of this shit relates to me. I've never lost out on that. Like I've been sitting here trying to figure it out, get my ass whooped from like every angle, but I don't have this like desire to like reclaim this white masculine fucking figure. I've never had it. I don't know what the fuck that looks like. I just would like to, be loved and appreciated, and how that was just stunted throughout years. So it just is not a thing. Like it's it's a complex issue, but it's also just, if motherfuckers said out loud where these issues come from outside of just saying these normal buzzwords, I feel like motherfuckers will probably get somewhere in these conversations. Granted, I think some of y'all know that, content is content. That's cool. We're just,
but that kind of, to a degree, that makes me think about the narcissist comment. It's like, there's a real conversation that needs to be had on your platform, but you care more about the attention. So I'm going to do what gives me attention as opposed to fulfilling what could be a purpose or a safe space.
Well, I think the issue also is, if you have the conversation for real, you have to, like I'll talk about anything.
To it.
Yeah, that part. Like I'll talk about anything. So like if you run out of the relationship shit, even though you don't have to, you can talk about that shit forever. But on the flip side, yes, you have to now, if we're opening up the room for everything, you have to now hold accountability for your participation in your own experience. Like, it's fucked up out here. It is fucked up out here. It's fucked up out here for what niggas are dealing with, but also you niggas are actively chasing this individual who says this shit. Like, and that shit affects your brain. Like, I've noticed with me, like, I say this a lot, I'll look through the feed for content, but as soon as I find the shit that's like, here's the thing about niggas, I'll never know what she said, because I'm gonna fucking swipe up on that shit. And I've gotten to the point now of like, every now and again it'll be like, don't show me this. I do that too much, I won't have nothing to fucking talk about. Well, take that back. But you cannot pay attention to it. Like, it's such an intentional act to see it, seethe in your fucking body, go in there and make a comment, and then tag fucking Ashley, because I know that bitch be liking this. Like, I'm not doing none of that shit. Like, I make fun of the shit that I be talking about from a very, like, 3-4 people removed shit, because I'm not following these pages, and I'm not interacting with some of this content like that. And I think, I don't know, niggas don't pay attention to how much that shit really, really affects you, and having no real direction of what it looks like, what masculinity is supposed to look like. So you just be out here fucking depressed, and I'm not living to this made-up ass standard that, again, I just want y'all to know, it didn't exist. Like, there's fucking, what's that shit? There's articles. I know I posted one. Y'all might not have seen it, because I be trying to sneak them in the dumps. That, like, was a article about how that fucking 1950s fucking...
The article is normally the last line.
Yeah, I try
directly in the middle.
Yeah, I try to, like, but it doesn't exist. Like, not the way we think it exists. Like, especially, and again, if even in its the versions it did exist, it wasn't ever for us. And I feel like motherfuckers got to pay attention to, like, specific experience in the country, in the world, period. Like, there was never not a time where motherfuckers were, like, communal fucking with each other. And I know that comes into, like, the doofy ass 50-50 conversations, but, like, it's not a thing. Like, the homemaker woman made sense because the work was different. And even those they didn't. Like, y'all know the women on fences. Not fences. Well, fences too. But the women on fucking, what's that shit? You was kind. You was maids.
Oh, the maid.
Them motherfuckers had husbands.
Oh, the help.
Yeah, the help. All of them wasn't going home by themselves. She was...
They had a full-blown family.
Yeah, after she wore out them hard bottom shoes, so the fuck did he. Because that's what it was. And that's what it's supposed to be. It's not supposed to be like just fucking just struggle porn. No, that's not what I mean. But like, yeah, I don't know.
There may not even be no real love in them situations either, because we're too busy handling survival to even understand how to really love each other. It's more so companionship. Like, you fucked up out here, I'm fucked up out here, and we agree to support each other through our fucked upness and just stick it out regardless. Because it's either that or be alone through all the shit that we going through, and I ain't gonna make it.
Yeah, I just feel like, niggas gotta also, big up each other, but big up yourself. Because, like, if you just know a little bit about what it is out here, you would be like, yo, I'm a fucking anomaly. Like, I know a lot of niggas that are fucking, you know, to me, anomalies. Like, y'all should fucking big up yourselves.
I thought about that earlier when you kind of mentioned it, because I hear that, of, you know, you're an anomaly, you're a rare, and I've never, because I've had my own confidence issues most of my life, I still don't see myself as that. I can embrace it sometimes and be like, yeah, I get it. On paper, I'm for sure a unicorn. Definitely in the field, a unicorn, but even that's kind of slowly going away. But I have to redirect people sometimes, because it'd be like, as much as it is a struggle for me to accept my rarity or how good I am in comparison to the average, that doesn't make me feel good, because it's for somebody that values my people, my culture, this, that, and the other, blah, blah, blah. I don't want to hear that I am an outlier because most men don't value themselves or accomplish certain things or think the way that I think, right? That means that we're really struggling in a lot of different areas. And although it's good for me individually, that sucks as a whole. Like, yeah, I may find, you know, people here and there that I can connect with that are also like-minded, but there's also a community of us out there that are really struggling to love themselves and value themselves and want better and want more for themselves in a healthy way and have vulnerable conversation and be able to express the full range of emotions. That's just simple stuff to have a healthy mind. And you mean to tell me that I'm an anomaly? And I'm struggling with that. So if I'm struggling with that and I'm an anomaly, I can only imagine the flip side of the coin.
Absolutely. And I think that those who are like, you know, not to just, because niggas need to do it amongst themselves, but also on the opposing side, everything the motherfuckers think they need for themselves, you could do for the other side. Because I think there are some, like you said, and I've even had that myself, of like, no, nigga, like, you should pay attention. Like, look at said things that you do or that you are involved in and be like, no, you could, you know, big up yourself a little bit. Like, fuck on paper. Like, you should just big up yourself. Like, you did this, you're doing this. Like, yeah, like, if I just run down a list of, if I ran down just the good news gang, like, I would put all them niggas in a ballpark of like, fuck on paper, like, just in general, if I met you and you were like, if I was like blind, crippled, and crazy, you know, please don't cancel me. That was some shit my grandma used to say. And I just had I didn't know what you look like, and you just gave a rundown of what everybody's doing in life. Oh, you got this job. Oh, you're doing this. Who else? Fucking DJ Punch. Shout out to Punch. His birthday was today. Like, you know, DJ extraordinaire. Motherfuckers. Dell, DJ, rapping. Who else? Fucking KT do clothes. Like, just on paper, if I'm looking at all these motherfuckers' accomplishments, yeah, big up these motherfuckers. Like, they're doing amazing shit. Especially if you add in all the motherfucking barriers that be barriering on niggas. Like, they be fucking doing it. Walls is, sorry, that was gonna sound crazy. Thick walls.
Say it anyway.
Walls is thick.
There you go.
Is that a good thing?
Berlin status.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
Got Berlin walls.
Yeah. Fuck it.
There's
and then they
people
tore the walls down.
Irv Gotti is choosing to date women that don't know what the Berlin Wall is.
Yo. Yeah. And that's crazy, yo. That's just, man. And I think the deal was like for $300 million. I think about that as far as like, that's why celebrities like they blow my mind, but also I feel like even though this is through their like mishaps, should make you feel like you're not as off as you fucking think you are. You might be in a bad position like financially or like career wise, but you're not 1,000 miles off the mark from whatever, because I just think about, like, if I had a quarter of what you niggas are making in life, like, I just wouldn't have these issues. Like, I like to think to myself like that. Like, everybody would have issues, but it's like, why would you do that? You have all the opportunity to do whatever the fuck over here and just deal with the regular shit of life. Like, people will die, or like, you know, you can get sick, or but like some of this shit, I'm like, oh, y'all just choosing to do this shit.
The mindset just ain't there. And that saddens me sometimes, that like the majority of us don't have a healthy enough mindset to realize when opportunity favors us.
You tweeting about your girl being a mom, then she start making posts, and she make a fucking music video with Usher. Like, you know, what the fuck? And now, I don't know what that man going through. He might be fine. I feel like he might be just like, he makes tweets, he's over it.
I'm about to say, from the looks of things right now, he's probably better off.
I don't really know, man. But also, I said this before, as adults, motherfuckers gotta stop like looking at 20 somethings to be the fucking barometers for fucking.
That's just bananas. Or dysfunctional 30-year-olds.
Yeah, all that shit is nuts.
You're looking at a bunch of people that don't have life figured out, telling you how to figure out life, and you're taking it for face value.
Don't have life figured out. You know what's like my favorite don't have life figured out show? Do you watch The Bear?
I have not.
Man.
But I've said that I wanted to watch it just because it has to do with cooking, and of course I like cooking shit. So
Yeah, did you ever watch Shameless?
I watched some of that.
So, you know, it's Lips show. I love that fucking show, man. That ain't got shit to do with shit, but like it is like it keeps a lot of the fucking like if you like Shameless, you should watch The Bear. If you get all that fucking like these motherfuckers struggling through life type shit and figuring it out, it's a good drama. I finished that shit in a day. I finished the second season in like one fucking day. I've been logged the fuck in.
How many episodes is it?
10, and they range from like, you know, the usual 30 to 50 minutes or whatever.
Okay.
And not in a day. I'm lying. I watched like 6 in a day, and then I finished like the last 3.
Okay.
But yeah, no, I had a whole thing. Like we didn't talk a lot, but I had a whole thing about that shit because I had watched that and realized like how emotionally I'm in that show. Like it was an old lady. She fucking there's an older like character on the show, this like Puerto Rican woman, and like I had like a whole like I had a like one of those moments I was like, oh shit, I'm emotionally invested in this show. She's like having a phase in her life where she like, you know, everybody thinks they fucking at the very end, and she makes a leap in cooking, and I was like, nigga, I might cry off a fucking show. Cause I'm whoever that lady is, man. I should look her up, but I'm lazy now. But like, good for them. Relationship wise though, this one made me think about too. I wrote this down. It was like the main character who's the lip dude. His name is like Carmen in the show. And it was a discussion about, I'm thinking about like that make this make sense between like manness and depression and how that fucking may tie into relationships and shit. As he's trying to start his business, how when people talk about like how the business and he starts a new relationship and how that was conflicting and like the ways in which to sacrifice one or the other and how that trope is still talked about. But in the show, he kind of does it to himself. But I watched that. I was like, oh, this is a fucking smorgasbord. But I need people to watch it because like in my mind, I had like a myriad of thoughts because I was like, it's kind of true, but it's kind of his fault. Like that's one thing like that was my thing is like motherfuckers say shit is understanding how much of the shit is your fault. Because there's nothing that says he does a lot of like abandoning his passion or not abandoning it, but he like makes a lot of mistakes because he needs to go and be with the woman. But I feel like she also provided like an escape for him. But in that escapeness, he neglected his fucking restaurant. And then there were certain issues there. And I was like, that's a real nigga issue. Or that's an issue that where I feel like niggas should explore more. Like when motherfuckers say, you know, negative shit towards relationships and they're like goals and shit, I'm like, this would be like a good way to like express that, to have that conversation. But y'all should watch The Bear. It's thought provoking.
Character development, baby. Good shows have it.
I don't really have much else. I feel like we've hit you guys with a lot of stuff today. I feel like there was jokes at the start.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't talk about the slurricane.
That wasn't a fucking thing, yo. Yeah, hang on. I thought I was done. I'm not done with y'all. Because fucking, because... Okay, let me
we talking about age stuff. That made me think of like back in my day, like y'all canceling everything because of a hurricane. Back in my day, we had to, like it made me. I had old man moments because I remember actively playing pickup basketball outside or in the backyard during El Nino.
El Nino. Okay, I didn't even think about El Nino because what I thought about is we both individuals went to different states for schools. Mm-hmm. These states that experience weather, like aggressive, sometimes just changes in weather that seem like they were like actively targeted. Like they were upstairs in the fucking heaven areas just fucking pushing buttons one day.
Somebody was death noting reality.
Because
my last home football game in college was in a snowstorm.
I remember, for all my gremlins out there, like I had a class in Woodson. And Woodson is like, it's one straight walk. So it's like if I had a class at, like, I want to say like the Wendy's right here, and then just walking here, like that's the distance. It's not really far. It was sunny when I walked out. When I say you walk across the street and get to the next street, it exploded with rain. Like, my backpack was wet. The contents of my backpack was wet. I was wet in my fucking drawers. Ran into a building. What was that second one? It was like because JTS was like a little further down. But I leapt in this motherfucker, waited. It was just like that. Because they always be coming first when we trying to say the stuff. I go in there to try to get cool, try to get like whatever. I'm like, all right, I'm already wet. I might as well make it. When I say that motherfucker stopped immediately when I walked to the curb of my fucking dorm. Like, it immediately, and I don't mean like sprinkled off. That shit cut as if somebody cut the water off. So I just said all that to say, it would rain like that often. It would rain like that often in the South with terribly lit streets. So I'm thinking that this shit that we went there, people was getting sandbags. We were getting flash flood warnings. Get off the road. We might have to evacuate. When I say this bitch, Hillary, this funky hoe sneezed for 36 hours. That's it. Little quick. Miss B Nasty caused more water than fucking Hillary did.
Shout out to B Nasty. She's a wonderful human being. And I love her. And she's a veteran too, so I salute you.
Yeah, man, she's caused far more waterworks.
Absolutely.
Hillary got
that
busy.
Is rain. You can storm me anytime. Hey. Yeah.
Yeah, yo, Hillary was a good rain. Like, you fuck around. I was sitting there like, oh, we needed that.
Yeah,
that's what I left. I didn't leave.
Like,
I mean, I'm happy about it.
Literally made me think of like Fresh Prince of Bel-Air Hillary. It's like, oh, this is a boozy bitch that you put a lot of emphasis on, only to realize that she don't do shit.
Got a little earthquake. Now that was, that was
she
the
ain't,
thing.
she ain't really do nothing. She made it seem like she was that shit, but she come through and it's like, nah.
And I'm like, I guess like, because I'm not opposed to like being in preparation, but the way that I looked at people, because it was like, I remember even Dash made a post, like people that cleared out on toilet paper, like it was just such the world is coming to an end response. And I just was like, I didn't know whether I should make fun of people, if I should make fun of the news for like fucking, like who, I don't know, just who was reporting this, like who made that a thing. I didn't know who to fucking get mad at about this shit. Well, not mad, it's not that fucking deep, but like,
part of me wanted to say on a less joking space, or in a less joking way, I think COVID has traumatized a lot of people to where they're catastrophizing everything. We're already living in a super sensitive time where everybody's offended by everything so easily. Everybody's in an uproar about everything on a regular basis. But especially when it comes to safety, COVID traumatized us as a world so much safety-wise that when something that we perceive to be unsafe for us comes into our radar, we freak out. Like, there's no middle ground to it. So natural disasters, people talking about COVID resurfacing and all that other stuff, it just puts people in a frenzy because you've been traumatized by this thing that you really ain't healed from yet, that you just lose your shit.
That also makes me think, and I know, like, this is not accounting for, I guess, every area in these spaces. I know there's, just motherfucking ass kickers out here, but you ever watch, like, there was like a trend that was going on one of these little social media platforms, and I think also one of them was like had to do with a game, but it's like states warring with one another. And I was like, it's niggas who leave Lamborghinis outside in Florida and be like, it's just a fucking hurricane and we got a day of rain and fucking society collapse for fucking 36 hours. Like,
not that I'm mad at it, but it also was like, I think for me the icing on the cake was like, y'all called off school, y'all ain't sending the kids to school. These kids already soft. Shouldn't they ask the goddamn class? Like I don't.
I love these motherfuckers. Like I love these motherfuckers in school. The gym be fucking empty. I
get that part. There's just benefits to it.
All y'all go back to school immediately. I want y'all after school programs. I want y'all to play sports. Oh yeah, I want y'all to have 0 period. If there's a before 0 period,
I want y'all to have family time too.
Yeah.
That way your parents really ain't got no reason to be in my goddamn way.
All of it. Yeah, I want y'all all just,
This is the time when the childless can really live.
yeah.
We can really live. Or we can really give back to our community because it's a lot of single moms that need nurturing because, they're going through some things during the school year.
That's a dangerous bag. It's cool, but it could be a dangerous bag.
It may not be all it's cracked up to be sometimes.
Niggas think y'all don't got responsibilities. You don't have them. Fuck around for too long. You fuck around, you gonna have them.
Or they gonna have you.
Either way, you thought it was fun, and now you're in there.
You know what's fun? Peace. Peace is fun.
We got to get some parameters on what that is, because that shit.
I'm not talking about be his peace. I don't hear that shit.
I don't. And also, I'm not liking that. Yeah, don't be. And
peace
don't,
is the level. Peace is what his face has right now. You're in a gunfight with no shield against somebody that has a shield, and you are charging towards him.
And didn't get hit.
But you are charging to him, blasting without a care in the world.
Yeah, he's wilding. He was living life, though. But
it's white-haired characters, man.
Yo, I ran to this dude at the gym because I just can't. I feel like I do this like at least once every 2 months. It was a dude in the gym who had a fire ass gone tattoo. And we sat there and talked for fucking 30 minutes about anime and tattoos. And it was a conversation about white haired characters because he was like, he had Jiraiya. And I was like, bitch, I'm going to get a Jiraiya tattoo. And he was like, yeah, shit's dope. And then it was a conversation about fucking the power of white hair characters. And that made me think, who was it? It was a conversation with Dash like a year ago at least, maybe 8 months ago. About like, anime and tattoos and shit. And it was like, as I named off the characters, he was like, so just fucking ass kickers and white hair characters. Like, bitch, you're correct. So I threw Kenpachi in there to mix it up.
I mean, that could be part of your project. You get you like a sleeve or something, whether it's on the forearm or the calf and leg.
Oh no, the animation is going to be a leg thing.
It's all white haired characters.
It might be like the list is very white hair. So like I got a couple black hair characters, and I figure I'll put them either at the top or the bottom. But the whole thing is just, and I'm content with that because them niggas do work. Like I just feel like it's hard to have a fucking anime anything. And granted, whatever your thing is, but like. Whatever you feel about Boruto, but like Kakashi is Kakashi. Kakashi did a lot for us. Gojo's doing a lot for the new people. Killua's done a lot of great things for us. I could be here a long time. You know what I mean? Like, those three alone, you could just soak this shit up.
It's the only white I trust.
Honestly, dead ass. Like, white hair anime characters is like, it's it. And they're just such like a, like even though Trunks shit was like purple, but like when Trunks pulled up, like even though him not being the strongest, like we talk about him, he's got the sword, he got real swole up out of nowhere. Like they just gave him a fucking a transformation that nobody had. Doesn't make sense. It's not the best, but it's here. Gohan has had a new transformation. It's a lot of hair. It's also off white, beastie. A lot of shit's going on.
And Piccolo's gold.
He is. Did he go from orange to gold? He got a third one. He
gold.
should though because y'all been
gold.
Because y'all been playing with my nigga for fucking years. You know what I'm saying? Everybody else has these drastic.
With him since the 80s.
Yeah, yo. Everybody else had these drastic. Cool. Bring him. Come on in, because fuck y'all. Because I'm telling the truth. They've been playing with my nigga for fucking ever.
I raised Joe Kid.
Yeah, we got Ultra Instinct, Ultra this. I ain't even watched this motherfucking shit in years. And y'all be fucking playing with my boy. Like, yeah.
But he's supposed to have a new upgrade that's gonna make him on par with Vegeta and Goku.
That's the fuck he should.
He should. You know how many times I've died?
I raised your fucking son.
And raised your kid.
Raised your fucking son.
You niggas are supposed to be stronger than me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want what they have. God damn it.
I'm from a people with their own set of Dragon Balls. Y'all gonna stop fucking playing with us, bro.
The black people.
The Blackians. The Blamekians.
I'm about to say the Namekians are definitely a village of black folks. They look like some East African folks or something.
She's powerful too, man. She's everybody's list. I thought about another white hair character. It's a Moroku, little bunny woman.
Mm-hmm.
Thick motherfucker, man.
If you're gonna cosplay her,
Oh man, I'm saying they do.
a lot of y'all cosplay her. But if you're gonna cosplay,
Man.
you gotta make sure you cosplay her right.
Some of y'all,
Really, a lot of the gym girlies,
They found,
cosplay her.
they found their person.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I'm okay with that.
They found their person.
Of
and
all, a lot of the Asian, the black, some
Yeah.
whites, I support the fit, thick women that are cosplay. I support you.
Urahara from fucking Bleach. Yo, it's a lot, yo. The white hair thing is a thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's a thing. I just get you some anime, guys. I'll never not die on that hill.
No.
I mean, Zoro's hair is green, and also Zoro has a habit for beating up black people. I still love him though, but it is I thought it wasn't a thing. I really thought this last. Oh, we're Wayno, and the dude is a fucking pterodactyl face, and then he lost, spoilers, whatever, and then he lost his shit, and I was like, that nigga black, bro. Why you? What's this about? What you can't get your directions out of a 1-story building, but you know when to punch a nigga in the face. You know when to slice a nigga right the fuck up. Shit, they even made Luffy's most badass form have white hair. Yo, it's a thing. I gotta look into that. What is that about? Is that a cultural thing?
I have no idea.
Because even her, like even this character, she's
Both of them got white hair.
Yep. I haven't even really watched it's on my like to watch list, but yeah. Damn. I'm thinking,
I'm sure there's some sort of deep philosophy behind it. They're not just drawing characters. Because there is a template and philosophy behind anime.
Griffith's terrible. Very, very, very bad person. One of the worst people ever to ever be a person animated. But he had white hair and he's strong. He's such a piece of shit,
I
though.
want to say they're menaces more than anything. Like whether they're good or bad, they're still menaces, and they're insanely strong.
I'm bouncing around, but this is another reason why I got to draw my fucking thing in the sand with some of these kids, because I saw somebody up there, right, and I watched Tokyo Ghoul, also a nigga that developed white hair, and he went through a lot. He got really, really fucked up in his transformation, but it was a nigga up there. It was some viral clip. And the kid was just too flippant about how he was like, he just threw away what Guts went through. And I'm not having it. He just was like, we could just be talking about Guts has the worst thing. But what about Tokyo Ghoul, nigga? I'm like, yo, shut the fuck up, kid. I felt that so much in my heart. I was like, shut your ass up, my nigga. Like,
You want to add them?
I got to find them.
Okay.
But I don't think they added the kid. I think they just, whatever the page
Somebody
is.
else reposted it.
Yeah, but it
It's
was
gonna
just,
find you, kid.
yeah, it was one of those things that,
It's gonna fuck you up.
I'm not gonna lie, don't add us. Like I know we talked about doing this, haven't done it yet, but it was one of those like, you go to a con, what do y'all think about this? And it was like, what's your worst anime? What's your like, hot take, anime take? And he just was like, fuck Guts. And I was like, hey, yo, nigga, what the fuck? Like he's not the worst one. He called him a cuck too. I was like, man, Costco went through a lot of shit. Like it was, and if you haven't, I know everybody that listens to this is not like an anime fan. Just take my word for it. Like Berserk is what we're talking about, and it is
The first one.
It is by far
The first one.
whether you watch it or whether you read the manga, if you're into, it is by far some of those heinous. It's a good story. On the back end, you get a lot of deep, trauma. You get a lot of deep trauma, but you get a lot of I forget the term for it because it's like seinen. It's that one, Vinland Saga, and they put Vagabond in there as like the big three. Like you get a lot of deep stories and whatever the theme is. Like like you go through Vinland Saga and he's like, murder everybody. You guys kill my dad, and then he grows into a better person. He's like, I have no enemies. I'm all about peace. Like Guts is like, murder the world. I'm so fucked up by my trauma. Then as he progresses, he gets to a space of like gaining new friends. Getting, I want to protect the ones I love because I thought I was in a love. He kind of, but to get there and pretty much all the way through, it's a fucking lot. And for somebody who didn't know what the fuck I was looking at, if you don't know it's coming, fuck.
Character development.
It's good though, but boy, did that fool shit. Like they'd be like, what's the anime world you never want to live? That one off fucking top. I want to be a fucking onlooker at best. That shit fucked me up so bad. When I see motherfuckers like, I saw this one anime creator chick, and she had it like tattooed in there. Then I was like, that motherfucker dangerous. I don't even want that shit tattooed on me. That shit she got the curse mark. I was like, it was dangerous. Everybody, it's a lot of people with the curse mark, but I'm just like, yeah.
Y'all got it.
Because the curse mark get busy. Like, it's not fun.
Yeah,
like, whatever that nigga Sasuke went through, fuck that. That curse mark is a motherfucker. The way I like to go to bed at night, too, fuck no. Can't even. Whole night fucked up.
Nonverbal communication. You've been through some things, haven't you?
Man, look. I fuck with, like, here's the thing. This is how much pussy I am. I will take a guts tattoo of him looking like he's finna fuck the world up. I think that shit's dope. I don't want the curse mark nowhere on my body. In the event I watch too much geek shit where somebody, takes some fucking shit and now fucking shit that's on paper becomes true. Like the day that shit go and like somebody somewhere, the hero doesn't win the day and we got to be out here dealing with the ramifications of them because they let Emotep loose. Fuck y'all. I'm not gonna have me fucked up. I'm gonna survive until y'all figure it back out. I think I'm tough. I was talking to my sister about that. Like, would you survive like a fucking apocalypse thing? I'm like, I think I'm tough for like the first wave, but the way Rick and them was out there for like years, this ain't fun no more. Like first wave, I'm a badass kicking monsters' asses, and then we fixing the world goes back to how it was. Cool. The ones where we just like this.
We have to rebuild from here.
Hell no. Everybody would have died if I was Will Smith in there. Like, yes, what?
It's a butterfly.
Yeah, I'm out here just in a Charger with my dog. Hell no. That's it? Nah.
Indefinitely.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And so is he.
And they don't wash their ass. That's another thing that be coming about the zombie apocalypse films and shit. They just be out here and then they find love and be busting slime. When did y'all brush y'all teeth? That pussy been tart for 3 months. You know what I'm saying? This nigga balls been ballsing for fucking 90 days.
About menstruation and all of that.
All of that shit. Your fucking butt cheeks caked up, my boy. What you wiping with? Just shirts. Just doodoo shirts all throughout cities.
Yeah. Because, zombie apocalypse, and we've been living this way post-apocalyptic for 4 or 5 years. Ain't no factories that's been creating toilet paper and nothing. Like, the world's supply of tampons and toilet paper and all that stuff has gone away. So,
what's that shit?
What are we using now?
Yeah, shit. Joel and Ellie was just funky in that goddamn truck.
But you become nose blind at some point if you grow. It's like
that's
during
true.
the medieval times, they was throwing shit out the window into the streets.
That's always some shit when I watch some shows. I'm like, yo, that's nasty. Because they just be up there just fucking like, I think that's irresponsible. That's another thing I thought about. This is my homies in the gay community. Do y'all find them shows to be irresponsible the way that them niggas just be dropping trout and just butt fucking anywhere? Like when y'all watch, like, when it's like game, whatever's on HBO gonna give you some butt sex. And like, but I just always find them like they just never talk about prep on these shows. It just, these niggas be in love and then boom, they start fucking and nobody got no problems with it. Like nobody ever y'all ever watch some shows and be like, it don't be like that. Have you ever had to explain?
Maybe do. Maybe they just okay with scat.
That's wild.
No kink shaming.
No, like if that's what you into, you know what I'm saying? But like, I just feel like it sets a really terrible precedent for booty hole. For everybody booty hole.
It does teach.
Because what if you up there, you like the show and you like, yeah. Because I hear a lot.
Have to prep. Yes, we do.
Yeah, I just have heard a lot of people talk about their horror stories. Like, women ladies be like, niggas just be like, granted, these be conversations that motherfuckers have like, I had this experience when I was like 18. And while it's dumb, like, you're in your dumber phases, but like, a butthole don't work like that. And I just always watch some shows, be like, nobody ever sits here and goes, hey man, like, they don't want to like prep the butt.
Yeah.
Like, well, like speaking of Shameless, Ian and Mickey had, wild love story. One of the, better fabric parts of the show. Them niggas would just be butt fucking everywhere. And you watch that, I'm like, did these niggas just walk out the house and prep just in case I want to get to fucking in the alley.
That might be part of it. You have some people that are really cleanly. So yeah, they might be prepping on a daily basis, watching what they eat.
But do you just lube up walking out the house too? Because with them nigga, you never know. We out and about, we rob somebody, pistol whip the motherfucker, time to fuck. Better be ready. I don't know. I'm just saying. That's how this shit be looking on TV. Felice Johnson doing an interview, so I guess somebody could ask him. I'm not gonna ask him though.
You don't want him to come sit down and I think he would be tamed.
It would be a funny, fun conversation. I don't know if I want a motherfucker like here. We gotta go to like a neutral spot. Like I don't want a motherfucker coming to where people like be at like regularly. Like it's a neutral area where if you go back, I'm not finna be there.
It's well lit and highly populated.
Yeah, that's it. Cause the way his stories is, I feel like I'm good in the fisticuffs. It just is a level of crazy. I'm a regular nigga. Like I haven't experienced those levels of trauma where a nigga like when you've bit people to the point that they refuse to give you teeth. I just feel like that's not a nigga you need to fuck with. I bit a motherfucker, and after I figured out what it was, I just was biting motherfuckers ever since, to the point where the prison said, if you bite another motherfucker, we are going to take these teeth. And then you proceed to bite another motherfucker and they take your teeth. You different, bro. That's it. That's
a whole nother trauma conversation.
I mean, we had it. Y'all go back and listen. Because I had the conversation about Fleece where it was like, real shit.
Yeah.
And so, as of now, I would just, I'm going to leave it where it's at. I don't really got nothing for y'all. I got some more mashup shit for Beeve and Felix. I don't know if it's Beeve that hates the mashup, but Felix is actively talked about not enjoying.
Really?
I mean, just too much. It's more of a club thing. When you be in the club, and then they just, you want to hear the song. So I resonated with that.
I get that part. But I can see him liking it outside of that.
Yeah.
But I do want to have I would have a mashup party.
Why the fuck have we not done a show? Hey, where the fuck is we don't make the rules just to, however we make it? That's got to happen. I feel like that's
crossover collab.
Man, I just feel like that's the shit it's violence. I feel like we'll have a good conversation, but I do feel like it's just chaos incarnate. I'm putting that in the universe. This is gonna be clipped because after this, it's in the universe hands. I might.
Bros and training.
It's
bros and such.
Bros and such. Bros and such.
Bros and such.
Yep. It's That's it, motherfuckers. That's it. Go ahead and do with that what you will. This sounds good, Felix. You gotta let it ride. Not that part though. I don't. Seroquel don't make me do shit because I don't use it. But everything else, don't do drugs, kids. Thanks for listening. We'll see y'all next time. And prep for butt stuff. And tell the nigga he's doing amazing. I don't care if it's a stranger. Tell him he's doing a good job.
Yeah, firm black man, please.
Bye.
Here's my page and number one.